lyrics, are you also writing the music as well, or does one come before the other? Do you have to have the lyrics done before you come up with the beat and the rhythm, or is you kind of doing everything hand in hand?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it
So,
is.
yeah, that's a real music lover's question right
Yeah.
there. I take my lyrics quite seriously. I don't have any throwaway lyrics. I like for every line, every section, every verse, chorus, pre-chorus, I like for them to mean something. Not in your face mean something, just how if you want to think about it, you can.
Welcome back to another episode of Rendezvous with Alysia. Today I've got the phenomenal musician Jordan Seven on. Jordan's got a new album being released in a couple weeks in March, I believe, and I couldn't wait to get a hold of him. So here we are. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Thank you, Alysia. Good morning.
Yeah, let's talk about your name, Jordan Seven. Had that name come up?
Jordan 7. Well, that's a good question. So there's a lot of reasons why I kind of settled on that, and also why actually the name of my first album was titled Seven. Um, there's sort of a deeper and then a more, I suppose, meaningful explanation for how I ultimately settled on that. But it's a name that I've been going by for years, having been a cover band musician for a long time before I started writing original music a few years back. And seven is really just something, it's a number that I've always felt attracted to. Of course, there's always the whole allure of the lucky seven, right? But back in my youth, or even somewhat before, Mickey Mantle was number seven, right? Schoolhouse Rock had the lucky number seven rabbit. When you're shooting a craps table, you want to draw the seven. You want it's just a good, strong, lucky number for me, and it's always been something that I just felt some comfort with. And on a more mundane level, years ago when email was becoming a thing, if I'm not dating myself too much. Do you remember America Online?
Yep.
The uh, the CDs they would send you with the software. Well, I was very interested in technology and online and email and all of that stuff that was evolving at the time. And I signed up to AOL, which back then had those strange dial-up modems, remember?
Yes, I remember.
And yeah, and you had to choose a name. And I didn't know what that meant. I mean, we didn't have screen names back then, right? So I put in Jordan and it said, nope, you can't do that. So I put in a few numbers and ultimately I said, you know what? Seven, I like that. So Jordan 7 became my email address on AOL. And then it just sort of stuck with me from there.
I love it. I absolutely love it. My first email from back in the day, my friends had a boat. It was the hot tuna after the band Hot Tuna, and that
Sure.
was taken. So I made it hot spicy tuna, and then that stuck with me. That was, I guess, what year was that? Like 2099? Like I forget what year I got the emails. Well, then I got hip to email and stuff like that. But oh my God. Now you're in Florida now?
I am. I live just north of Orlando.
Nice. Well, you're in a t-shirt. While I'm in South Carolina. I'm in like a thermal shirt 'cause it's a little colder here than by you, but
Yeah.
everybody's like buried in snow this week.
Yeah, I haven't been making a lot of friends by telling people how nice the weather has been down here. It's been in the 70s for the last few days, but it's a bit cooler today, but nothing like where you are or the Northeast or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into outside of the weather. Something else that I know you love is
Mhm.
music, guitars. Where was your transition from going from a cover band into an original artist where you started writing your own music? How did that shift start for you?
Well, I've always written music in one form or another. So some of the songs, even on my first album, were sort of reinventions of pieces of things that had existed before. But I was largely a cover band musician just because I love my favorite songs. I love playing guitar. I love singing. And that's really the best opportunity to be able, at least in the location that I'm in, to get out there and play. There's always a market for a cover band playing music that people are familiar with, 70s, 80s, 90s music, that sort of thing. And I did it for a long time, and it was a lot of fun. And I have some really good friends that I worked with in my band down here. We were a fairly popular and long-lived cover band, but it got to the point where I was getting a bit bored with it. And I felt like a jukebox, and I felt like there was really more for me to say that I wanted to offer. I really wanted to sing my own songs and, experience the reactions to those more than, just what other people had written. And I think it was really during the pandemic, actually, that the shift really occurred. I mean, I'd been thinking for a long time about committing to original music and writing and producing my own music, but I didn't really feel like I had found my own unique musical voice, what I wanted to say and what I felt my style, if I had one, is. So during the pandemic, during the lockdown, I mean, it's almost hard to believe what happened
I
back then.
know.
We're back to real life. We're getting out. We're around people. We go to the supermarket. All of those good sorts of things. Back then, we were pretty much confined to our houses, whether it was by our local government or by our own, choices or anxieties about the sickness. So I spent a lot of time in the early evenings. We have a lot of animals in our home. I have big dogs, and we always have. We're real animal lovers, and particularly Great Pyrenees dogs are a great fondness for us.
Oh, they're
And
huge. They're really large dogs.
yeah, yeah, they're big. Yeah. And sometimes they don't know it, and they'll try and get in your lap, and they think they're these 130-pound lap dogs, but they're quite beautiful and intelligent, and they're really wonderful. Not for everybody,
Yeah.
but they're great for people who understand and can realize how to care for them. But back then during the pandemic, I had a dog named Honor, and Honor was a big Great Pyrenees, and all of our animals are rescues. So we had rescued him from a rescue over on the other coast near Tampa. And Honor was a very stalwart sort of animal. He was very committed to forward motion, and I always admired that about him. He'd want to go out and he'd want to walk and walk and walk and walk and keep walking forward, right? And I would go for walks in the evening with him. And usually, when I was out walking him, I would be listening to my partially done music on my AirPods, trying to figure out how to complete them or what they needed. And it was just those nightly walks with him. It was just kind of a revelation to me. They were these sort of lonely, peculiar walks. There was no one on the streets. Everyone was in their homes, locked down, and I would be out there walking with Honor, and it just came to me over time. I just thought this sort of um, dreamy, inspired feeling that I had was what I had to express, and I think those are adjectives that I would use for my music,
Yeah.
and what ultimately led me into recording my first album.
It's so funny that you talk about that because it could be a breakup, it could be a divorce, it could be a loss
Mm,
of a job. And for you, it was that isolated, lonely, everybody's locked down, everybody's away. It was that you and that nature and your dog on your
mm,
own, and that realization that, damn, I got some magic within me, and I'm ready to release that shit, like.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, you said Honor. Is Honor no longer with us or?
Yeah, unfortunately, we lost Honor to, I believe it's pronounced osteosarcoma a number of years
Sorry.
back. And yeah, that was really rough. We loved him.
Yeah,
But we do have others now. We have Atlas and Mira and Darcy, who's not a Great Pyrenees, but we always have dogs around. But we do miss Honor. He kind of broke the mold. He was really one of a kind.
Yeah, and it
But
seems like his walk, your walks with honor. I mean, they're going to be
yeah,
so memorable. They're now in music. They're now creating
yeah,
music. So
yeah,
tell me about the type of music that you created during the when you put the pieces of the puzzle together during those walks.
yeah.
What were the lyrics like? What were you envisioning when you were there?
That is a really insightful question. So the entry point to Seven, the album Seven, was a song called A New Morning, right? And I wouldn't call that necessarily my most conventional song on the album, or even I'm not even sure it would serve as a single. A lot of people really like it, but it's a bit of an unusual song. And it's got that dreamlike inspirational quality to it. I like the sound of acoustic guitar over electric with, a lot of layers to it. And A New Morning was, in many ways, it has a number of meanings, but it was really about the pandemic. The chorus of that song ends with the words, "We'll all be together by and by." And it builds to that. It's kind of an anthem of hope, is what I used to call it. And it is somewhat anthemic. It ends on a very positive note. It sort of builds to a nice climax on the end. But the chorus, I haven't sung it for a while, but it was blue roses and tourmaline sky, sleepwalking through I don't know why. It's a new morning and we'll all be together by and by. And that's what it was about. It's almost like a lullaby for a
Yeah.
daydream, a waking dream. And that's what I imagined it as, a kind of a waking dream that people could um, find some hope and comfort in. That was my goal with that song.
Yeah. Now, when you're writing lyrics, are you also writing the music as well, or does one come before the other? Do you have to have the lyrics done before you come up with the beat and the rhythm, or is you kind of doing everything hand in hand?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it
So,
is.
yeah, that's a real music lover's question right
Yeah.
there. I take my lyrics quite seriously. I don't have any throwaway lyrics. I like for every line, every section, every verse, chorus, pre-chorus, I like for them to mean something. Not in your face mean something, just how, if you want to think about it, you can. If you don't, hopefully the words just sound nice and the phrasing sounds nice and you enjoy the song.
Mhm.
But I generally have an idea that comes to me first, whether it's a musical phrase or a lyric. I'll take that and figure out what it actually means to me and then build on it that way. So most of the time, it'll either be some sort of musical progression or it'll be a line that comes to me. Or being a singer, sometimes in my sleep or in that sort of between sleep and wake, phase that you go through, sometimes lyrics will come to me or song ideas will come to me. And there was one song in particular from this album called Zephyr Girl. And Zephyr Girl is a pretty popular song. A lot of people really like that one. And again, it's got this more sort of dreamy quality to it. And it makes sense because it came to me in something close to a dream. And it's got a very light, positive feel to it. It's an emotional song. It's a meaningful song, and it really came to me all at once. Like I heard that chorus in my mind. Zephyr Girl, a gentle breeze. Zephyr Girl, the one you really need. She's gonna waltz right through your world. Zephyr Girl, right? And if you listen to that chorus while you're listening to that song, when the chorus starts going, there's these female backup vocals that are very sultry and lush. And I heard almost that entire arrangement in my head, so much so that I had to get up and record little bits of it in the middle of the night so
Yeah.
I wouldn't forget because I just knew how great an idea it was. And then I just built on it from there.
Yeah, I'm nodding my head because I'm a published author. And when I was writing some of my children's books, everything you're saying I resonate with because it was like they were like lullabies, they were like stories. I would wake, I'd be like half dozing off and wake and be like, oh my God, I have to write this down so I don't forget it. And getting up,
Yeah.
I had my I'm in my 50s, I'm dating myself, my black and
Mhm.
white speckled notebooks. And I'd be writing all the lyrics down and not the lyrics, the words to the book down, and then how I was going to do like a chorus. And all of my books, I sing as well. So I'm not
Mm.
a singer-songwriter. Maybe in my mind I would love to be, and maybe my dream came out through books. But I just have such an art, which is going to bring me into this next question for you. I'm kind of all over the place right now, but again, pretend I'm waking up in the middle of the night. I got to ask you this question instead of writing it down so I don't forget. AI. Okay, so
Yeah.
when we were creating, when we first came out, it was all us, blood, sweat, tears. It
Mm.
was relaxing, me having a glass of wine and feeling like in the mood and then being able to write. Nowadays, they're doing AI. They're using a chat bot to help do. We didn't have that back in the day. How do you feel about that? Because I'm a little annoyed with it.
Yeah. Um, I'm not sure I'm at the point of being annoyed with it because I haven't exposed myself to it too much. I did
Yeah.
hear a news story not too long ago. I don't remember where I heard it, but that recently a chart-topping song, maybe even number one, was an artificial song or a song
Yeah.
created by. Um, I feel that that's problematic. I know that there's intellectual property concerns that people like Paul
Mhm.
McCartney have expressed about that because basically AI, everything AI does is learned. So where did it learn that? And even if it's
Mhm.
not necessarily plagiarizing your material directly, it learned from your material, and that's how the music evolved. And I think it also displaces the human component to a certain point. I mean, if we take, all human participation out of the act of writing or creating music, I think it in a sense plays to sort of that modern approach to being withdrawn into yourself.
Yeah.
I think it
Uh-huh.
creates a lot of loneliness and sterility, quite frankly, creative sterility. And I don't know where it goes. I've heard people say, well, it's not that bad because ultimately AI can only mimic, it can't create, and it can't emote, and it can't create human inflection. And I thought when I heard that, not yet it can't.
That's exactly it for today, but
Yeah,
it's just evolving so quick. I mean, do you remember back in the day when Milli Vanilli was like the biggest scandal because they were lip syncing?
I
I mean,
do.
AI is like people, oh, you can grow millions of dollars in your business if you start using it. I'm
Yeah,
still so old school. I like
yeah,
pen and paper. I like doing everything myself. And I don't know. I worry. I worry about a lot of things with AI, that we are demeaning ourselves, that we are not going to use our own brain to the power that it could be used to.
yeah.
And we're all, I mean, I look at the social media feeds and everybody has the same emojis and the same spaces and everybody writes the same. It's like, dude, what happened to the people of the
Yeah,
70s, 80s, 90s before
yeah.
that? Before computers, before your, Jordan 7 email, before my hot spicy tuna email, before all that came out, like we were different. We were original. Like, I don't know. I
That's
hope that never ends. I
that's exactly the way that I feel. And I feel that the creativity and the freedom that was prevalent in that era is what
Mhm.
really needs to be preserved. A lot of
Yeah.
people comment on what appear to be, classic rock influence in my music. It's not intentional. It's just that's where I come from. So maybe
Yeah.
that music came from that sort of place. People
Mhm.
with that free heart were able to, emote and create in that way. And I think with the AI, my perspective on that, Alysia, is we might be okay. I think it might be more of a generational thing. We might be the last ones. I mean, AI is progressing at such a pace. I think the next generation might be the one that has to grapple with that particular issue of completely displacing human performance. But right now, I have to admit that it has crossed my mind, and I do want to get my next album out and perform because I
Yeah.
don't know of any AI programs that can play guitar as well as I do or sing as well as I do in a live setting.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's really probably in addition to just writing good songs and getting them out there and hoping that they resonate with people, performing live is always the goal, and I'm hoping to move towards that with the release of the next album. There's a lot involved, but I'm feeling pretty positive about it at this
Do you
point.
have any shows lined up?
No, not yet, because
Not
the
yet.
album's
Okay.
not out yet, and I'm really focused. It's a lot of work to finish an album. It really is. It's very hard to explain. As an author, you probably know what it's like. People think
Yeah,
it's just, oh, you do it a few hours a day for a few months. It's a struggle.
it is.
You know,
I
it's
know. Yeah. And now, so is March a set date that it's coming out? Do you have deadlines? They have to be done by February
no,
release or
no,
that?
it's kind of if I don't set a goal for myself, things don't get done on time. So I've kind of set mid to late March as the deadline for at least having the songs completed. I might have to, if I'm not happy with all of the post production and engineering, I might have to wait until April. But I am hoping to have it out in the first quarter.
Okay. Now, what do you think of Depeche Mode or The Cure? Were you into that? Or you were more rock grunge or like
Um,
what is your
well,
style?
I respect Depeche Mode and The Cure. Those are great bands. That was a little out of my lane. I was a little more of a rocker.
Okay, that's what I
You
figured.
know,
Yeah, yep. Mhm.
but I'm somebody who really was open to all kinds of music. I mean, I was a big fan of the harder rock bands back in the day, but I also loved REM, and I loved the Grateful Dead.
Mhm.
I've been thinking about them recently because of Bob Weir's passing. David Bowie was always a big inspiration and
Yeah.
influence on me. So that sort of alternative type of music, like Depeche Mode, more electronic than is maybe my taste. I do appreciate it though
Yeah.
for what it was and is, and all of that kind of '80s inspired, new wave music was wonderful. It's not what I do, but it was really great at the time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I kind of figured you were more into that, into rock and stuff like that. So growing up, who inspired you and why?
Musically, you mean?
Musically, yeah. Hmm.
Like I said, probably David Bowie, Led Zeppelin, of course,
Yeah.
Jimmy Page in particular, I think was and is just brilliant and unparalleled. Um, I was really interested in music that spoke to me.
Hmm.
So Pink Floyd was a big inspiration to me. I think there's some of that probably in my more reflective songs. Some of my music,
Sure.
there's a bit of that sort of tone. I don't. Some of my music can be a bit somber. There's always a hopeful tone to it, but a bit somber. But I didn't want to come off as being depressing.
Yeah.
It's always got kind of a positive, reflective feel to it. So I was really influenced by all of those great bands. I mean, everything from Fleetwood Mac to to Aerosmith back in the early days.
Yes. Yes. What did
But
you think of the hair bands? Like, what did you think personally of like Bon Jovi and Rat when like the hair bands came out? What did you think of
yeah,
that?
well, I was kind of forced a little bit into that at one time, particularly when I lived in California. So I have some uh, unfortunate photos of me back then with a lot of hair and,
Who didn't have
those.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was an interesting development. I think it largely came out of just being an exaggeration almost a cartoon of the bands like Zeppelin and Aerosmith that came before, and they just took the brightest lights and amplified them, and that's what created the hair bands. I mean, not
Yeah.
to say that some of them didn't write great songs. I will
Mhm.
point that out. Cinderella had some really great blues
Yeah.
guitar and a few really good songs, particularly on their Long Cold Winter album, I think, which is an underappreciated work. But there were some bands, I'm not going to name them by name because I'm not really into trashing other people, but
Yeah.
I think there were too many carbon copies that were forced out all at once through MTV, and I don't know if VH1 was around at that time, but everything started looking and sounding like that. And then came Nirvana and they broke it all down. And then came Pearl Jam and everything, headed in that direction. And I think even that, the grunge era started to become a little mundane. There was a little too much of it. And then I think what you started seeing, maybe what you are seeing, I hope anyway, and maybe my music shows this, is a little bit of a hearkening back to more genuine, melodic, thoughtful
Yeah.
type of music.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, were you ever an Ozzy fan?
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
I was not a big Black Sabbath fan, oddly
Okay.
enough, but Ozzy was he was a force of nature. I mean, he those first two albums that he did solo, it was Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. Those are two of the best rock albums ever made. And I actually had tickets to see him on that Diary of a Madman tour, and Randy Rhoads, his guitar player, who was largely responsible for writing much of that music, unfortunately passed away about a month before. And Brad Gillis from Night Ranger, the guitar player from Night Ranger, stepped in, and he wasn't Randy Rhoads, but boy, did he step in a pinch and do a great job. What a great job he did playing that night. But I remember it vividly, and I still remember those songs. In fact, I get together with my former band friends every couple of months or whenever everyone sort of feels the mood. One of them will have a party at their house. We'll do a jam night with a bunch of musicians that we've all played with throughout the years. And at the last one, we actually did not Diary of a Madman, Crazy Train.
Oh,
So
this Crazy Train, nice.
yeah, so I was singing Crazy Train, and that was a little bit, different for me. So it was really fun. We just kind of, and just to show you how connected people are, not just me, with that song and that album and with Ozzy Osbourne, we just picked it up and played it. We never even rehearsed it. I knew the words, I knew how it went. The guitar player came pretty darn close just by ear. It was a pretty inspirational moment, I think. But it
Yeah.
was it was sad when Ozzy passed. And Bob Weir too. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like the past couple years, well, I guess I feel like we lost being of age and COVID and just the Parkinson's and all that stuff. We've lost a lot of greats, really,
Yeah.
a lot of classical greats.
Tom Petty. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have a couple more minutes left with you, and I just want to I want to ask you quick. Oh, hold on, I got to put my glasses on because I'm getting a notification here. Uh, so yeah, oh, see my glasses. With my, I was telling you before, the wigs, they get like all crazy. But anyway, before we go, I need to know your website. If somebody wants to contact you, your email, if you have a cell phone number where people, if they want to book you, if they want more information, maybe you want to get another interview out of somebody, how do we get in contact with you?
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. The best way to reach me is probably through the email that we've been communicating with. It's jordan7 at protonmail.com. JORDANSEVEN spelled out at protonmail.com. There is also my band website. It is jordan7band.com, again, with the seven spelled out. And I'm really all over social media. If you search for Jordan 7, you'll find my music, you'll find reviews, you'll find my social media, so Instagram and TikTok and all of that. And really, that's the best way. I will tell you that unfortunately, one of the drawbacks to being called Jordan 7 is when you do a search for Jordan 7, a lot of sneaker photos come up
Oh
because
yeah.
of the Michael Jordan 7 line of shoes when he was up to number 7. So what you have to do is you put Jordan 7 music or Jordan 7 band, and you'll find all kinds of stuff and ways to reach me.
Okay. Oh, it was so nice talking to you. I feel bad that we have to end this short, but I mean, I hope everybody goes to Jordan 7. You guys follow him, you look for him on social media, ask him questions, and maybe you'll be able to watch him perform live come the
Yeah.
middle, the end of 2026 after the new album comes out. I would love to see you perform live.
Yeah, we've got a few music videos up on the YouTube channel as well for Zephyr Girl and for Solid Ground, which is another popular song. Come Back Jenny. These are all songs that there's full length official videos for, and I think folks will enjoy them. And those are three of the more I think approachable songs on the album as singles, if you will.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, when this comes out, it'll be on the YouTube channel. I hope that you follow and you comment below and you let us know,
sure will.
all these music videos, put their links to them so that we can watch the video, we can watch this and then click down below in the comments
Sure.
to see your music videos.
Yep. And of course on Spotify and all of the music streaming services, you can find me.
Of course, yeah. And I just saw Rick had sent me a whole bunch of interviews that you've just been in. So you're kind of
Uh,
blowing up right now. So I'm glad I got the chance to personally talk to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
yeah, this was great. Maybe we'll chat again after Mercury is released.
I would love it.
In
I would
Yep.
absolutely love that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Calling all first responders, healthcare professionals, and military personnel. Are you ready to take the next steps in your home buying or selling journey? My name is Alysia Stern. I'm a licensed realtor in New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida, and the founder of the Heroes Agents. You have made tremendous sacrifices for all of us, and it is our honor to assist you in your real estate journey. To express our gratitude, we offer hero rebates and customized services tailored to fit your unique needs. Our commitment is to help you find your perfect home or enhance the value of your current property. We are also dedicated to supporting you in securing financial resources and smoothly navigating the mortgage process, guiding you every step of the way. To date, we have proudly given back over $50,000 to heroes like you as a way to say thank you. The Heroes Agents are here to serve you and make the process as easy and stress-free as possible while giving back with no strings attached. Reach out to us today at 833-TOP-HERO. That's 833-TOP-HERO. Or visit theheroesagents.com.